how are you? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a quick review and demo of the new Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I have been dying to get my hands on this. This is actually just a deluxe sample of it, but I will be purchasing the full size just because, I mean, I guess I just gave you a spoiler. I love this foundation. The full size of this foundation retails for $39 and it actually comes in 12 shades, but coming this fall, there will be 6 more shades added, so that's a total of 18 shades, and I know that that was a big thing when I was researching this foundation. A lot of people were upset that it didn't come in like darker shades, so now it will come in darker shades and some even lighter shades, so that's really exciting. I got the shade Sand, which actually matches me perfectly, so I don't have to worry about finding a shade that matches me. I do want to mention, and I always mention in foundation reviews, my skin type lately, it's been very combo dry, mostly dry normal, but sometimes I do get a little tiny bit of oil in my T-zone. Most of the time I am like normal dry, so we'll go with that. So keep that in mind with this foundation. This foundation claims to be oil free. It's supposed to give you an undetectable medium to full coverage look. It normally comes in a glass bottle and a pump, and I just wanted to show you guys this really quickly because this thing is so adorable. This is a deluxe size sample of it, like I said, and it actually comes with a pump. And this pump is pretty bomb. Like, you can control how much comes out of this, which I think is really awesome. So if you are able to get a deluxe size sample like this, I highly recommend it. But moving on to the rest of the claims. So it does have a pump, it comes in a glass bottle, which I guess could be problematic if you're trying to travel with it. The foundation is actually infused with coconut water to replenish moisture, and it's not supposed to overhydrate, so it's not going to make you like crazy dewy, but it's going to give you a nice natural looking look, if that makes sense. It also contains Alpine Rose, which is supposed to brighten the appearance of your skin and also promote the elasticity of your skin. And it also has hyaluronic acid, which gives a smoother, youthful looking appearance to your skin. So all of that is really good ingredients to have in a foundation. It does say to apply, you should apply it at the center of your face and blend outward. That's pretty much what I do, but normally I just pump on my hand and then go in. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you a quick demo. My favorite way of applying this foundation is with the Morphe M39 or just any kind of buffing brush. This brush particularly just works wonders with foundations, but any kind of buffing brush would work. If you want a more full coverage airbrushed look, I would suggest buffing it in your skin. It works really well, and it actually blends in really nicely, and it looks very skin-like without, you know, attaching to any of my dry areas, which is really awesome. If you want more of a lighter coverage, like more of a medium-ish coverage, I would say use a beauty blender, a damp beauty blender, but I will warn that if you use a beauty blender, it can make you a little bit more dewy. So if you have dry skin, that's perfect, but if that's not the look you're looking for, I wouldn't use a damp beauty blender. Blah, blah, I can't talk. I would not use a damp beauty blender. That is just my opinion. My favorite way is to use a buffing brush. So I just like to pump it on my hand and then buff it into my face little by little. I'd say I need about a pump and a half to cover my entire face. And if I want to build up a little bit more, then I'd do a whole 2 pumps. But either way, it blends really nicely. You really only need one pump if you want just like a medium coverage. As you can see, it actually covers up quite a bit of imperfections. It makes my skin tone more even, and it covers a lot of my acne marks, so I think that that is really awesome. I found that this actually wears on my skin for at least 7 hours. I'd say more than 7 hours, but about 7 hours is when I took it off my skin when I tested it the other day, and it still looked relatively the same. I think if anything, there was maybe a little bit of fading around my mouth, like nose area, because I tend to touch my nose a lot more, and like my chin area, that's just a habit of mine. But it does last pretty well for the rest of my face. My blush was on, and my bronzer, and everything still looked like I just applied it. It is cry test approved, and what I mean by cry test approved, that means I have emotional moments. I mention that a lot. I am pregnant, I get my hormonal moments where I just want to cry, or I'm watching a movie and something just makes me really sad and I want to cry. The reason that I need waterproof mascara. So what I mean by cry test approved is that I can cry in this foundation and you don't see the streaks going down my face. I mean, I do try to catch it relatively quickly, but there's no like harsh streak lines going down my face. And if there is a little bit of a like payoff, like it just runs off, I can quickly blend it in with a brush and it actually works pretty well. But I actually don't have that issue. If I cry, there are no streak marks. There's plenty of foundations that I have been testing out that if I cry, it is the end of my makeup for that day because it is so horrible. So this is cry test approved. I give it a thumbs up. I did notice it does not break up on me personally with humidity and sweat if I'm outside. I was outside with this foundation and it still lasted well over 7 hours and I did not see any kind of breaking up, maybe just a little bit like where I get a little bit of oil around my nose, but I do touch my nose a lot, and then I get a little bit of shine peeking through my T-zone. Normal, like I said, my skin is normally combination. Now it's just more to the normal dry side. So if you have combo oily skin, that's something to think about. You would definitely want to set this with a powder in your oily areas, but I don't think you have to set your entire face with the powder. I also noticed that there is very little transfer from what I can tell. I can touch my face and I can like just go like this and I don't have any foundation on my face. The only thing is if I'm rubbing my nose, obviously, or if I'm rubbing my chin or something, it will transfer. Most foundations do, but just touching my face, or like if someone comes and kisses me on the cheek, or I hug my husband and I rub my face, like it doesn't come off, at least for me. I really love how this feels like skin. Like I keep touching my face and I need to stop doing that. But it does really feel like my skin. Like it doesn't feel like I have foundation on. It feels very, very natural. And it feels natural to the touch and natural to wear. Like it's very comfortable, and even though you can build it up, it doesn't feel cakey or anything like that. I think this lasts well with or without a primer. I tested it both ways. I tested half my face with a primer and half my face without, and it lasted about the same. If you use a hydrating primer, like that day I used the Too Faced Hangover RX primer, it will give you a little bit of more of a dewy look than just like a satin natural looking finish. So that's something to keep in mind. I recommend possibly doing a pore minimizing if you have larger pores, because I don't really have that issue that much, but I think a pore minimizing primer would actually help fill in any fine lines and also the tiny bit of pores that I do have, especially right here in between my forehead. I think that would help. I don't really think it settles into pores, but it can settle into fine lines. I have smile lines right on the side, and I get the same look with all my foundations that it just, like right now it doesn't look bad, but throughout the day you can see like the noticeable, I don't know how to explain it, like my smile lines, they just peek through, if that makes sense. Like the foundation clings to them a little bit, so they look a little bit dry-ish in that area, and it just accentuates it. So for that reason, I use a hydrating primer, and then like I said, I would just recommend using a pore minimizing or some kind of smoothing primer to kind of smooth all of that out if that's an issue for you. Also, my other con, and it's really not much of a con, is that you may need to maintain it a little bit more throughout the day if you are oily, and I only say that because if you tend to get shiny fairly quickly, I mean, you'll want to set it with a powder, but I really don't think it promotes oil. If anything, I think it helps keep it under control because it is a moisturizing foundation, and if your skin is moisturized, you will have a little bit less oil production, typically. Overall, I give this foundation a 4.5 out of 5, which is really awesome. I think that's the highest that I've ever given a foundation. I don't think I'll ever give a foundation a 5 out of 5 just because there's always stuff that can be improved. Like I said, it does settle into a little bit of fine lines and wrinkles and all of that, but overall I think it is a pretty amazing foundation. I will be buying the full size of this because I don't know how much this is going to last. If you've tried this out, let me know what you think about this foundation. If you haven't tried it out, any questions that you have about this foundation, leave them down below. But definitely let me know if you love this foundation as much as me. If you want to see more reviews, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more of a first impression review, let me know. I think I've done maybe 1 or 2 of those, but I would love to do some more of that if you guys are interested. So if you want to see more reviews or first impressions or anything on any type of product, let me know down below and give me your suggestions. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Follow all my social medias, which are always linked over here. It's CaseyVee23 for Twitter and Instagram, and then it's Casey Vargas for Snapchat. So follow me on those to stay updated on my life. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.